Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so it doesn't go out the whole time we're BSing around. And then
I
the
know. And then
moment,
the minute we decide to actually record,
it's like, nah, fam.
no, it's because Chris is up here doing his thing.
Chris, get
I'm
out.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Bring down all the internet. I'll take it down forever.
Oh my gosh, don't you dare. We have work to do. So salty about it. Um, okay, so I just said the whole thing and then I realized you were frozen. So just react super excited.
Okay. Sounds good.
Basically, this barber does special services for kids with special needs, like Down syndrome and stuff, and he like makes it a great experience, and everybody's joyous and happy.
Okay, I'm acting and I'm taking this role very seriously. Ready? Ready?
Ready?
Ready.
I'm ready.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. I think that's a
Yeah,
wonderful thing
it
to
is a
do.
wonderful thing.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. I'm Blair.
And I'm Kirsten, and we are
Mediocre
mediocre content coming at you.
Woo-hoo.
Second episode in March. It is
Yikes.
flying by.
It is.
I feel like I can't keep track of time. And time was a mess this morning because it sprung forward, not to my
geez.
knowledge.
Truly the worst. We need to fix that.
Well,
I mean,
they said
somebody
they were
needs to
going
get on
to.
that. I know, but they haven't. As far as I know, they haven't officially passed it yet. And
No.
I'm like, y'all need to get on that because I'm over
Yeah.
it. I'm done.
The news I heard was that they attempted to, but couldn't come to a decision. And I was like, that's about right.
It is not that controversial. Come on,
No,
everybody.
no, I agree. Also,
It's like
though,
it's like the metric system. Everyone else does it. You just need to get on
why
board.
can't we? I know. But it was kind of nice at the same time to wake up quite leisurely. Like, I mean, listener, full disclosure, we talk hours before we actually record and just goof
We do.
about. So technically, I have said this, but I would also like to say that the
Is
best
that
part.
your computer
Yes,
dinging?
it's
Oh,
Tyler
okay.
again. He needs me to
Tell
send
him
us.
we are recording.
Tyler,
Oh
we're
my
so
God.
busy right now.
We're
trying
so
to
busy.
trying to tell the people about my morning. It's so important.
Mm.
But I had the best morning. I woke up, fed the cats, stayed in bed until like 8 o'clock, where the sun hit my face through my blinds, and then I questioned, why is the sun hitting me in the face? It doesn't usually do this at 8 o'clock, and that's when I realized time had sprung forward.
For those of you who don't get up until like 10 on the weekends, Kirsten is a morning person, as am I. I am also a morning person.
Oh my god.
We are morning people.
Morning people. And the thing is, I would be less of a morning person if the sun didn't, bounce directly in my eye hole every morning.
Fair. Also
But
fair.
but once it gets light outside, I just can't sleep anymore. I just like toss around, honestly.
Yeah. My brain just automatically is like, yep, it's time.
Exactly. That's definitely me.
So first and foremost, let me just say that I had to take my cats to the vet this morning. And there's nothing wrong with them. They are wonderful. They are thriving. They are living their best life. And they just needed to get one vaccine because we're going on a cruise next week. And we need to put them in like a kennel to be able to like leave, and they will be taken care of and blah blah blah. And it's very nice. It has like a little patio area where the cats can have like outdoor playtime, and it seems like a pretty reputable place, and they just need a vaccination that they don't currently have because they're indoor cats,
Right.
and it's not a big deal. So they had their checkup like 2 weeks ago and everything was fine. And they were like, do you want this feline leukemia vaccine? Because they're indoor cats and they don't necessarily really need it. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, then we won't get it. We'll skip it today. Fine, whatever. I don't want to cause them any more trauma than there already is, because like they hate going to the vet, whatever. And so I find out that they need this vaccine from the kennel place. And I'm like, great. So I'll just schedule another little visit. So, and that was for today. We get there and there's like 3 other people in the lobby 2 other cats, 2 other dogs.
Wow.
And then I overhear that one dog, like the vet is going into surgery because one dog needs like emergency surgery or something like that. And I'm
Jeez.
like, okay, well, I'm fine to wait if that's what needs to happen. Like I'm mentally preparing myself for that. So
Mhm.
we're like 15 minutes in already. And the lady finally calls me up so that I can check them in. And we go through the check-in process. She's like, is this the only vaccine they need? Do they need anything else? And I was like, no, this is it. They're up to date on all their other shots. Like everything else is good. We're just, quickly in and out, whatever. She's like, great. We'll wait for a vet tech to come out and they'll grab them and then we'll call you when it's done. And I'm like, great, sounds good.
Hmm.
And the vet tech comes out and she's like, so we don't have the feline leukemia vaccine in, and we may not have it for like the next week. And I'm like, well, she's like, we might get a shipment on Tuesday. And I'm like, okay, so can I schedule an appointment for Wednesday and just in case you guys get it in? And she's like, yeah, is the morning fine? And I'm like, fuck no, the morning's not fine. The morning's not fine, but it's okay because Chris has finals this week. So his schedule is a little different. So like we can work it out if we need to work it out. It's fine.
Sure.
And so we make the second appointment and I'm like so upset because not only have we like traumatized our cats, dragging them into the vet, they've had to like watch all these dogs and like other animals that they don't know like walk by. And then we like went for no reason.
Right.
And
You just
the other
showed
thing
up
is
for
that
nothing.
they texted me twice this week. They called me yesterday just to confirm the appointment, like as if I wasn't going to show up. And I'm like, but then when I actually show up to my appointed time, y'all don't have the vaccine that I need.
And it's not like they didn't know what you were coming in for.
Right. And I put it as a special little note on the little appointment when you make it online. I'm like, they're coming in for this specific vaccine.
That is such a waste of time and super frustrating.
Yes. Yes, it
Oh my
is.
God.
Yes, it is.
I mean, he seems fine.
They're fine. They are fine. Like
But-
everyone in the audience, they're fine. They're wonderful. They're having a lovely afternoon. They're snoozing and, doing what they normally do. And
The
it's
morning was
fine.
rough.
But the warning was rough, and every time the carriers come out, I try to take them out a couple days in advance, but everyone's on edge, it's a whole thing. There was a lot of meowing happening in the car,
Do yours howl like Lynx does? Because Cougar and Puma, they'll just cry and be like real sad. No, Lynx goes, ow, ow. It's so dramatic.
They do not do that, thank God.
Highly recommend the experience.
Salem is like, once you get him in the car, he's like totally quiet.
Oh, wow.
He's just looking around like, oh, where are we going? What are we doing? Can somebody please fill me in on what's happening? And then Jinx, depending on the day, today he was kind of caught off guard. And this was not his intent for the morning. So he was doing his little meow, meow every like few minutes. Yeah. And we're like, it's okay, Jinx. And like while we're in the waiting room, he's like, meow. It's fine.
Cougar's just hissing at everyone.
and then Salem is literally just like chilling in his carrier, like, oh, this is fun. We're going on an adventure.
Why are you freaking out, bro?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Love that.
So I don't know. That was like super frustrating. And like, I don't know. And now we're thinking of not even boarding them at all and just getting like someone from Rover to come and just like, which is probably what we should have done anyway.
They'll probably have like a much more relaxed time in their own space.
Yeah.
The cats are very trained. They require food at exactly 6:30 in the morning every day because that's when I get up to like get ready for work. Or when Tyler gets up. I mean, sometimes he'll get up at like 5:30, but that's still around the time they eat. So if you're not on the dot, they are at the door.
Fair.
Yes.
And that's
pretty-
why we have an automatic feeder. Okay, moving right along.
No, we do not have that. We should have one though. That
You
would be
should. I
nice.
mean, honestly, like Cougar would get off your butt. Like she would just be
It's not-
so happy.
It's not even Cougar. It is Lynx shuffling under the door with his giant feet, and they don't fit under the door, so they just bang against the door frame.
Can I tell you that Jinx? So we have those closets that have like sliding doors instead of
Mm.
ones that have like a door handle that open, you know?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Okay. So Jinx has now figured out that if he wiggles his little paw in between the door jam
my
and the
gosh.
sliding door, that he can make an opening big enough to where he can climb in the closet
The closet.
and like disappear
Closet cat.
for hours at a time. And he does this at 3 a.m.
Oh my! 3 in the
So,
morning.
Yes. And so I'm like
Oh.
sleeping and he's like
That
like
would be
in
beside
between the
myself.
thing. And I'm like, what is happening? Is somebody in here? Like, what's going on? I turn over. Jinx is like, what's happening? Mom, are you awake?
I
Can you
would
open
lose
this
it.
closet for me, please?
I appear to be trapped. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the cat situation in the morning is just aggressive.
It's aggressive. This is why we're morning people. We're not,
Yeah.
let's not kid ourselves. This is why we're morning people.
The best time to start the day is when you have the cats at the door, or you've already fed them and you have my cat who's just like hacking in the hallway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then yeah. My garbage disposal Lynx who will go over and try to eat it. It's just like a
Oh,
problem.
that's gross.
It's a
Salem does
problem.
that too.
Ugh, I
If
can't
people,
stand it.
if you have dogs and you think
Ugh.
that they're gross, cats are just as gross.
Just
Don't,
as gross.
you know,
Mm.
if you want something not gross, I can't help you. Get a
Don't
get a
get a
rock, a
pet.
pet
I
rock.
was gonna say, don't get a pet then.
Get a pet rock. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's technically not the good news today. My
No.
morning is not the good news.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was good.
She had a great morning. I had a
I did.
terrible morning.
But we're better now.
We're better now. We're better
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
good.
And that's why
So
know.
I'm just saying, if you've had a bad morning, don't feel like we're over here having like an influencer worthy morning. Because
Oh no. It's not. It's very abnormal for me to be this cheery in the morning. So I'll take it.
All right. So
Disclaimers.
Yes. I'll get on that right now.
Do it.
So today we're talking about our Lord and Savior Tina Fey. And if we are not experts on her,
No.
I like to consider myself a fan, but I that doesn't make me an expert.
Those are two different things, Blair.
It is it's different. I mean, if you ask a Directioner fangirl, that may not be very different, but
true. That was a different podcast.
I digress. I digress. Anyway, so if you have come here to get any kind of advice, if you have come here to, fact check us, I mean, please do, because we need it.
Absolutely.
But if you come here to learn, we love that. Welcome.
Yes.
But please don't hold us accountable for everything, because we don't know a lot of things. Yeah, for anything.
For anything. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good. Anyway, so now we'll move on to the good news now.
Okay. So our first piece of good news is going to come from Ohio in a barber shop, which is so fun. There is a gentleman that works there named Vernon Jackson, and he is known around that area that he works in for taking in some very unique clients and giving them a once-in-a-lifetime personalized experience at the barbershop.
Nice.
These special
this is not Sweeney Todd, right?
Heck no, that would be horrifying.
That's a once in a lifetime experience. No,
yeah, once and done.
All right,
that's it. No,
anyway,
this is very different. No, so What Jackson does is he specializes in receiving appointments for children with special needs, or I'm assuming potentially adults with special needs as well.
Mhm.
And basically, he just makes this whole experience that for most parents, it sounds like is just excruciating for both parties. It usually ends in an upset, usually ends in a poor association dynamic with the barbershop. He turns that into something beautiful and positive for both the parent and the kid. So, for example, he has this 7-year-old Ellison Eubanks. He has Down syndrome, and his mom, Julie, typically would send him to a normal salon. And unfortunately, they would have a pretty rocky experience from start to finish that would, for the most part, leave them both in tears and quite sad. However, after taking Ellison to Jackson, Jackson takes his time. They play a lot of games to associate a positive relationship with getting their haircut while also being cognizant of overstimulation, and just makes the overall experience for Ellison and kids like Ellison a positive one. Both his mom and Ellison, of which severely appreciate, just given the dynamic that some of these diseases can kind of create for these kiddos and their parents.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. I think that's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing
It
to
is a
do.
wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, the parents are significantly less stressed because their kiddos are significantly less stressed. And it just makes everybody's experience super positive. Where otherwise, at least for this mom, Julie, and her son Ellison, it had been a very arduous task previously. So, like,
Sure.
Jackson is like doing great work out here in Ohio for these kiddos. So,
Love that for them. That's perfect.
yeah.
Wonderful.
We do move states for the next bit of good news, though. Now we're in Tennessee. I actually heard this through TikTok before I saw the good news pop up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. So basically, there is a high school student, Sergio Peralta, and he was born with a non-fully formed hand. Been dealing with this his whole life, of course.
Sure.
You know, but at that age, it can be difficult because, I mean, outside of just not having a fully formed hand, there's a lot of like dexterity things you can't do or sports that you can't do. And if all of your friends are doing all of these cool things, of course, you would naturally want to be part of those things.
Yes.
So, he was speaking with one of the engineering teachers that they have there at his high school in Tennessee. And the engineering teacher was like, I have some really amazing students that might be able to assist you, because one of the dreams that Sergio had was to be able to catch just something as simple, catch a baseball in his hand.
Nice.
Right. Very simple, but very difficult, obviously, if you don't have a prosthetic or something that can withstand something of that nature, right?
Sure.
So these engineering high schoolers got to work and literally built him through online models and 3D printers a fully functioning prosthetic that allowed him to carry out catching his very first baseball.
Love that.
Amazing.
Truly.
Truly amazing. And, it's just something that simple is so beautiful in stories like these, because you take something as simple as catching a baseball and you make it reality for a kid who just wants to feel normal and feel like they're doing exciting things. And high school is so like important in that way. So
yeah,
it's amazing that these kids just came together and was just like, nah, we got you, like, say less.
That's awesome. I love that.
So yeah, I feel like this week's good news was all around kids, so I love that.
That's very nice.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's always good when we can help out the tiny humans.
Yes, exactly. So the topic today, though, is not about kids.
Segue gold, as per usual. As per usual.
This week's topic is not child related.
No. So today we're talking another important woman in at least my life. I'm sure Kirsten likes her too. I don't know.
Do.
But for our Women's History Month series, we're doing Tina Fey
It's so fun.
this week. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background on her life and like her career, and then we're going to kind of go on from there. So her real name is Elizabeth Stamatina Fey, and her mom is Greek. Her dad is, I believe, actually, I don't know. Her mom is Greek, though. I know that because
okay.
my mom is Greek, too. And
just everybody knows the
yes.
Greek relation. Okay.
And so Tina comes from her middle name, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact, her character in 30 Rock, her name is Elizabeth. And so yeah, I think she kind of took that from like her name. She graduated from the University of Virginia in 1992 after studying drama. Yep. After graduating, she moved to Chicago and started training at Second City, which is like an improv acting group. A lot of really prominent members of SNL and a lot of really good comedians have come out of that improv acting school, sort of.
Better segue than mine.
Yeah. And so moving on, she became a writer at SNL in 1997, and 2 years later she was the first woman to ever be head writer at SNL.
Wow.
And then in 2000 she made her on-screen debut on SNL as the Weekend Update co-anchor with Jimmy Fallon.
So cute.
She would go on to be do Weekend Update with her best friend Amy Poehler as well. So in 2004, so she's like doing SNL, living her best life. In 2004, she just casually writes Mean Girls, the whole thing,
just for funsies.
And she also played the iconic Mrs. Norbury in Mean Girls.
It's so cute,
truly the best. And this movie, so first of all, it took me entirely too long to realize that Tina Fey had anything to do with Mean Girls. And Mean Girls, to me, made like, as watching it as like a teenager at the time, it made me feel so seen because no one, I had a lot of issues with like girls bullying me in high school, like middle school and high school, right? Sure. And so nobody in Hollywood at the time that I know of was like writing about this. Like nobody, there were no movies coming out. There was like, you know, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. That's and exactly like a Cinderella and like a Cinderella story with Hilary Duff, but nobody was addressing the girl on girl crime that was happening in middle school and high school. And so this movie
captured that.
I felt seen. I felt seen in who I was. Yeah. Because it's not really, I mean, it is about Aaron Samuels. It is about the boy.
Sure.
But it's like also not about the boy.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's about the microaggressions and the passive aggressive crap that like all women have to deal with at some point in school.
It's very true. It's very true. I was thinking of the Teenage Drama Queen one though.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Like, I was thinking about Lindsay Lohan and I was like, yeah, I guess, but she was just like a rebel. She was just like doing whatever.
It's a little bit different. It's a little different. And I again, solid movie. Love that movie.
But not
so
the
much.
Same vibe.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not the same vibe.
Great.
So also watch that movie for iconic early 2000s fashion that should not exist, but does. Ooh, true. So in 2006, she left SNL and started a comedy. Like she wrote a show for NBC called 30 Rock, which is basically a spoof on, well, it wasn't a spoof. It was like her experience at SNL as the head writer. So like 30 Rock is about her being a head writer for a variety show.
That's cute.
And so she basically, and the show is iconic for many reasons. It's a great cast, but also well, it was the first time a movie actor, Alec Baldwin, like made his way to TV, and TV started becoming like a really big deal aside, like there was always Friends and like, you know,
Right.
Seinfeld and stuff, but it was like a level up for TV,
Right.
you know? And so 30 Rock, the other thing is a lot of comedians I've noticed in my research have said that 30 Rock is iconic because the quality and quantity of jokes per episode is like unmatched. It's not just like a punch or a setup and a punchline. It's like
Right.
wordplay
Constant.
and like a bunch of other stuff happening. It's very like you can watch it multiple times and
Mhm.
find like a bunch of different things going on.
That's
And you can't
awesome.
say that about a lot of sitcoms, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
So 30 Rock had a 7-season run on NBC, won consecutive Emmys for Outstanding Comedy Series from 2007 to 2009.
Wow.
It beat out The Office too, which is very
Holy cow.
controversial. It's
Yeah.
controversial. Also, she was writing, producing, and acting as the main character in the show.
Which is just like next level aggressive.
Right. And she was, as we'll see in a few minutes, she was also doing like other major blockbuster movies at the time.
Just again on the side,
Just
killing
casual
time, you know.
Yeah. So let's see. So that was 2006. In 2008, she returned to SNL briefly to play the iconic role of Sarah Palin in the 2008 election coverage that SNL, you know, they play up all the elections and everything. So, and she did a great job. She won an Emmy as her role for Sarah Palin. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And 2010, she received the Kennedy Center's Mark Twain Prize for American Humor.
So
that
cute.
also, yeah, that also had a lot to do with her writing as well as her role as Sarah Palin. In 2011, she wrote her memoir Bossy Pants, which I have read. It's a lovely read, very funny. And when I went on vacation with your family I think we were in Myrtle Beach.
Oh my gosh.
I was reading this book and I was like, this book is so funny. You're like, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, oh, this book, it's just so funny. I love it so much. And you were like, yeah, whatever, Blair. Like,
I probably didn't even register who Tina Fey was because honestly, I don't think I started like getting into SNL until like way after it was like airing regularly and like had multiple seasons of content.
First of all, SNL has been on since the 70s.
Exactly. So... but I mean, the thing is,
it wasn't on your radar.
Right. Like it wasn't something that I didn't watch a lot of that kind of stuff, honestly. But I do enjoy it.
I definitely started watching it more when they started putting it on YouTube, like the clips and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. That's also what got me.
And we don't even watch it on Saturday night anymore. We just watch it on Peacock the day after.
Whatever works, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, that's just a fun little tidbit.
Not that. I didn't know the collection of that.
So let's see. So I put some of her movies on here and the years in which they were released. So we're just going to go through and rapid fire some of these real quick. So this is not an exhaustive list. She has been in more movies than this, but these are the ones that I think are the most like important. So Mean Girls was 2004, obviously. Baby Mama, 2008 with Amy Poehler. Date Night, 2010 with Steve Carell. Who was also blowing up at the time for his role as Michael Scott in The Office.
It's literally amazing.
The Invention of Lying, 2009. I haven't seen that one. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
Megamind. She was a voice in the animated movie Megamind.
I never watched that.
In 2010. I never watched that either. Admission, 2013. Don't know what that is. Sisters, 2015. Again with Amy Poehler. That's a good movie. It's super funny. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot in 2016, also a good movie. It's a little bit more serious for like what we know and love Tina Fey for, but it's quality. It's a really good movie.
It just shows her versatility, to be honest.
Yeah, true. And then Wine Country in 2019, and also with Amy Poehler.
Go figure.
a variety of other SNL alum that she still keeps in touch with and like has been friends with since the very beginning of her career, which is beautiful. And And then she was the voice of the main character in Soul as well.
Oh, I need to watch that. That's on my list of things to watch. I haven't yet though.
It's good. It's a very underrated Pixar film for sure. Yeah. And then let's see. So some tidbits here. In 2013, 30 Rock ended. And then 2015 through 2019, Tina co-wrote with Robert Carlock Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's a Netflix
Okay.
a Netflix original, and it's really funny. I think it's really good. It was really, I'm surprised you haven't seen it. It was like huge when it came out, but it obviously it was a long time ago. But you've seen The Office, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know Erin from The Office, who takes over for Pam, right?
Yes.
So she's starring in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt as Kimmy, and like the premise of the show is her and her sister wives are in a cult, and they like break out of the cult, and she like lives in New York City and like tries to have a career and a regular life after being in a cult and trapped underground for like X amount of years or whatever.
That's insane.
It's really funny.
That was not what I was expecting when you were about to explain this storyline.
Yeah, it's wild. It's
that
wild.
Is wild.
But then she like meets all of these really weird characters and just like runs around New York, becomes like a nanny for one of the rich people on the Upper West Side.
Because what else would you do? You know?
Right. Yeah. Crazy. So anyway, in addition to all of that, believe it or not, she co-hosted the Golden Globes with Amy Poehler in 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2021.
Wow. What was the gap? 2016 through 2019?
I have no idea.
Can
I tell you, when I said 2021, I almost was like, and last year, but that's not true.
No, I think we're a couple ahead of that one.
Yeah. Just so you know, I have no concept of time.
It's fine. I didn't either this morning.
And you can find all of those performances on YouTube, and they're so funny.
I bet they are.
One of the most iconic jokes, I forget what year it's from, but so George Clooney that year was getting a humanitarian award. And so they're like introducing, they're doing the opening monologue, where they like talk about all the different shows and like who's getting what awards and like things like that. Right. And George Clooney had just gotten married to his wife, I think, pretty recently. Okay. And they were saying how she's a human rights activist and she's like working for peace in Iran and like all of these really impressive accomplishments for like the greater good. And so they're like listing all these things off, and the punchline, Tina's like, so her husband is getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. And it was just so like on the nose. It was beautiful.
Perfect and so accurate. I mean, wonderful George Clooney. That's great.
Whatever, yeah.
But also it's pretty accurate.
Oh
my gosh.
So, let's see. Finally, after all of that, 2017, she wrote Mean Girls the musical, which I have not seen.
Me neither.
Or heard any of the music from, but apparently it's pretty good. Her husband, Jeff Richmond, who is a really great like composer, wrote the music for it, and it just went off Broadway last year, I believe. Okay. And so now they're touring North America.
So cool.
And they're making a Mean Girls musical movie to be released.
Oh my goodness. That just, honestly though, that just shows how iconic the movie is. It's just solidifies. Yeah. It just solidifies exactly what everybody's thinking.
Yeah. No, we could totally do a whole episode just on Mean Girls because it is a cult classic for sure. And like so relevant to so many people.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is great.
I think so. So yeah, that's like all I have for the first half. I know that went really quick, but like,
Oh, it's
I mean,
fine.
she has a lot of accomplishments, so I
She
just wasn't
does.
sure like what, you know, what we were going to get into. But
Yeah, no, I like it. I
yeah, so
guess
that's
we'll
the brief overview of our Lord and Savior Tina Fey.
I guess we'll get into, I think you have some like accomplishments or something else that you're talking about in the second half. Is that true?
So the second half, I was going to kind of go over just like how I wanted to have like a more general discussion
Mm-hmm.
on like how she has an advocate for like gender equality and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was hoping you were going to talk about that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just give them a break then.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you guys on the other half of the break. Do you hate a quiet house?
Are you tired of listening to The Office in the background while doing the dishes?
Then you need mediocre content.
Listen to us giggle and rant about meaningless topics in the comfort of your own home.
Put us on in the background while cleaning your house, cooking, or even vacuuming.
We promise you won't miss anything important.
And you can always listen again.
Choose mediocre content for your background noise.
I was like waiting for the recording to start. And you were like, let's go. And then
And
it
it
was
was
like
silence.
3 seconds of silence.
Professional. Gotcha off guard.
I was like, are we on? Are we good?
Hello.
So in the second half, like I said, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how Tina Fey has like played a really big role in gender equality, especially in like her field in like the acting and comedy space. But we can talk about it as like a broader issue as well. But just some information here. Like I kind of touched on in the first half, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and their like the women in their class year of SNL,
right,
including like Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dratch, like those people have all like stayed in touch, and they all like they're all very open about how they have like they all talk and they all like try to like include each other in their projects, and you know they're a really tight-knit group of women. And I think that support, and the other thing too is, and this might be wrong, but I feel like that group of women on SNL was like the first time that there was more like a very significant amount of women in the writers room and on SNL as cast members. And it made a huge difference. Like they did a skit during their time called Mom Jeans, and it was like a commercial for Mom Jeans or something like that, and it was so great. And like you know that a man did not like, maybe they co-wrote it, but like it was very like women centered, right?
Which is great.
Yeah. So there's always been this culture of support of women in comedy, especially like with Tina Fey. It always just kind of comes with the territory, right? In an interview during the Sisters press in 2015 with Amy Poehler, Fey said, every single interview has asked, isn't this amazing time? Isn't this an amazing time for women in comedy? And people really wanted us to be openly grateful. Thank you so much. We were like, no, it's a terrible time for women in comedy. If you were to really look at it, the boys are still getting more money for a lot of garbage. While the ladies are hustling and doing amazing work for less.
I love that. You know what though? This is the thing. I think also during that time, and even some today a little bit, it was at least projected that women couldn't come together in these instances, and they were always catty and like always at odds with each other and just could not make these well-rounded, stable relationships with each other. And I feel like it was always a play in that kind of space, or you know, in a lot of popular media at the time. But then you see this group of women who are both individually and together very successful and very prominent in their industry, and they're like, no, we're not going to thank you, we deserve to be here and we should be on a level playing field.
Exactly. Yeah, and they like even in this article, it went on to further say that
Mm-hmm.
the media constantly like tries to pit women
Yeah,
against each other,
it's true.
especially women in comedy, like and women in the like arts space in
Right.
general. I
Mm-hmm.
think so it's really refreshing and nice
Yes.
to like have this conversation of no, we deserve to be here and we absolutely, make better content than the men and they're still getting paid more than us. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong. I mean,
No.
I think that there are a lot of like really, and I don't know, maybe I don't relate to the content because I'm not a dude, but like I feel like Sisters, I feel like Mean Girls, I feel,
Mhm.
there's a lot of really funny movies out there targeted towards
Yes.
women or who have women as the lead roles, and they
Mm-hmm.
totally get overlooked just because, men
Yep.
like people won't go and see a movie with two females as like the
Right.
lead.
What was that one? It's not like new, but it was fairly recent. And you just made me think about it. It's the one with Sandra Bullock and is it like Heat or something? Gosh, I feel terrible. I always forget this other comedian's name. She's also in the comedian field, but I think it's
Is it Melissa McCarthy?
maybe,
No.
I don't know. I think the movie is called The Heat or something. It is The Heat. Yeah. Um, yeah. Oh, yes, it is Melissa McCarthy. I just looked it up. I had to be sure. But yeah, but then I think about that because I remember when the like we were searching, it was like a random night that we were searching for something to watch. And by we, I mean me and Tyler. And it was totally overlooked. He's just like, nah, I don't want to see that. But then if you were to see like, another movie like The Hulk or Marvel or something like that, you're like, oh yeah, absolutely. And I was always
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, I don't know, like why not? Like it's two hilarious, beautiful women
Right.
just yucking it up on the screen. And I really liked the movie. So I don't know.
Yeah. There's
Stuff like
like
that. Yeah,
it's outrageous. It's
it is
outrageous.
outrageous.
And I think it's getting better.
It
Because I
is,
mean
yeah.
Bridesmaids did super well, and that was like
Bridesmaids
an
was
exclusively
great.
female cast. And
Oh,
then what else? It was Bridesmaids. I was gonna say something else. What was the other one?
Confessions of a Shopaholic was also one of my favorite.
That
That
was good.
also had a female lead dealing with shopping addiction, which I thought was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there's
Very
tons of
good.
them, you know? There's
Yeah,
tons of female-led movies that are highly underrated, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. So that being said, this is like a major theme in Tina Fey's body of work. So like even as Liz Lemon on 30 Rock, she's constantly like trying to prove that like women can be funny
Mm-hmm.
because some people still think that we can't for whatever reason, and arguably we're more funny because we go through more crap.
True.
Um and and like so in her body of work in Mean Girls,
Mm-hmm.
in a variety of different areas, in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt,
Mm-hmm.
in 30 Rock. She's constantly portraying women as like people who get stuff done. Right.
Right. Right.
And so I just thought this would be a very lovely thing to talk about during Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think we like talking about supporting women, especially in any field, not necessarily just in like movies or TV
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's really important. And I wrote on here, the goal is like the end of Mean Girls, where everything is great and everyone gets along.
It's true though. I think one of the things that I notice in media is a lot of, not all of it, especially in the younger years, like everybody experiences difficulties as a female with other females in middle school and high school because you're picking your friend groups, and it's a very difficult time regardless of what gender you are or identify as, right?
Totally.
However, I have noticed that as an adult, there's still a lot of media out there that makes the girl on girl drama significantly more heightened than I think it is. And you'll also see a lot of women coming on and being like, this doesn't exist. Like the majority
Yeah,
of women are just trying to do what they need to do to live and thrive. And everyone else just kind of makes it seems like we need to be enemies with each other or always have a problem with each other. And that's just not
absolutely.
how it actually happens at all.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are people who are inherently have
Mm-hmm.
a flair for the drama,
For
and that's
sure.
fine.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think people, I think it's we're letting the patriarchy win if we're letting them like pit us against each other, which is stupid.
Right. And again, in my line of view, that's all just like uh, created drama
Yeah,
that doesn't exist.
artificial.
Right. It's literally just made up. And everybody, I feel like everybody falls for it. And they're like, oh, yeah, like women just don't get along. It's like, no, you just made that up.
So, speaking of women that don't get along or suspected women that don't get along, have you
Mm-hmm.
seen this like Selena Haley Bieber
Oh my God.
situation?
I feel like people just make it up. Now,
Talk about artificial
uh,
drama. I mean, Jesus Christ.
like half of me was like, okay, some of those things might be a little suspicious. Okay, fine.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
also, in the grand scheme of things, who cares?
exactly. Exactly.
Like, Selena is just doing her dangest to hold on and be positive and uplifting and
And live her
also and
life.
live her life, which is currently just inundated with medical things. And, I'm so glad that she's had the strength to continue to thrive in these conditions. But like, we just don't need. And then the cake for me was like, you have these two players, right? They originally
Mhm.
had Selena and Haley, and then they're bringing in, Kylie into this and Justin and I'm like, y'all need to chill.
Right.
Because you're bringing in all these different elements and just trying to piece together a puzzle that doesn't exist.
I know. I know. And I really feel like it's so funny because like I've seen these TikToks of
Mm-hmm.
them being like, so on this day, Haley
Yes.
had a spinach artichoke juice or something like that.
Ugh.
And then 2 days later, Selena also had a spinach artichoke juice or like whatever bullshit it is. It's like
Yes.
such garbage,
Well, and then I was thinking there's two instances recently where I have enjoyed the aftermath of something of this nature, just the pure unbothered nature of a queen living her life. That is
Yes.
Selena and that is
Yes.
Michaela.
Yes. Oh, we're about to talk about Last Date. Oh my
I
God.
think it's so dumb that it has a name at all because it literally doesn't even matter. My whole thought process on that was, okay, wait a minute, I need to back up. For context, listener, Michaela is a TikToker who does makeup and she's this beautiful person. She's getting married soon. I'm so
She's
excited for
wonderful.
her.
She's wonderful.
She
We
just got her
support her.
shoes. Anyway, okay, she's beautiful. We love her. The thing about it is, I don't even remember. Was this like a month ago? 2 months ago?
Probably. I
Time
don't
is an
know.
enigma. So at some point, she did a paid sponsorship for this mascara that I guess got reformulated because it was already on the market, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. And allegedly, she put fake eyelashes on at the end of the video, and everyone lost their minds as if Jeffree Star, Manny MUA, Laura Lee Los Angeles, and Jaclyn Hill don't exist. Okay.
Correct.
These
Correct.
people lost it. And I'm over here like, whether she did or not, it's less than $10 for this mascara. You're going to buy it or you're not. Like,
Right.
it's just a mascara. And this queen took her reprieve for the weekend and then came back with zero zip for these people and just did her beautiful Valentine's Day makeup. And I was
Yes.
thriving.
Yes. Yes.
That is woman power at its finest, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, because first of all, people were like, oh, it's false advertising. Okay. So great. If you feel like it's false advertising, don't
buy
the
it.
mascara.
Yeah.
First of all, and second of all, like just because she did disclaim that it was an ad. There was markings on the TikTok that it was an ad. So therefore, people are like, oh, well, she didn't do a good enough job. Well, too bad. You weren't paying attention. That's not my problem.
And she's still getting paid either way.
And
the more you watch it.
Either. Yeah, exactly. That thing had like 45 million views. Do you know how much money she probably made?
And that's why an unbothered queen is one that we love. And I'm also over here, like, realistically, if you look at the statistics for all the ads that do go out from people who are not influencers and it's just the company itself, what you think they don't use hair extensions for hair care videos? You think they don't use hair oil for shine? You think they don't use extensions for lashes? Like, this is a technique that is just accepted wide range that whether she did or didn't, is always used by brands because they're trying to heighten your potential experience with the product so that you'll buy it.
Correct.
And you just literally, I just love it. And then Selena
all advertising is a lie anyway.
So it is. Whatever. It's all made up and none of it matters. It's just like, whose line is it anyway?
Exactly. No, that's exactly right.
Oh man. Yeah. No, I love. So Selena, yes. Michaela, yes. Tina Fey, yes. Like, we're here for it.
Yeah. We support women who support other women.
Correct.
And we support women who are unbothered queens.
Unbothered queens.
Like, they're just out here doing the work.
She literally, Selena was so lovely. After all that drama, she did a get ready with me that morning and like just set herself up for like a beautiful mental success day. And we love that.
We love that. So anyway,
that was
it kind of got derailed, but that's okay.
It's okay. It's still women.
That's okay. It's Women's History Month. We can do whatever we want.
That's right. Because we're women.
That's right.
No, it was good. I like Tina Fey and I love the different programs that she's been part of. I love the movies that she's been part of, and she's just a really genuine, funny person.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a genius comedy writer.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I will forever watch whatever she puts out just because she,
she's boss. Yeah.
She knows what's up.
And her counterpart, Amy, like also love. Can't get enough of her either.
We love Amy.
We should have done one on her too. We should, you know what? This should have been a tandem run. We should have.
Yeah,
they're always together anyway.
A double feature, as they say.
We'll do it later.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I could dedicate a whole episode just to Parks and Rec. I mean, oh my god, I love that show.
So good.
I rewatched it twice in a row, and I just finished the second time. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Anything
Leslie
else for this one?
I don't think so. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I think people get what we're trying to say, and they get that I'm a fan of Tina Fey, and that's all I really wanted to come across for today. That's it.
Well, if you are an awesome Tina Fey fan, or if you'd like to contribute to our Unbothered Queen commentary, which I think also deserves a clap,
it does.
Send us any comments, questions, or topic suggestions to mediocrecontentpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a tweet, Mediocre Squawks, or connect with us over on Instagram at Mediocre Content Podcast. We really appreciate it. We've seen a few people. I've seen a few people on our socials following us, and I'm just so excited. Yeah, I saw a couple of new people on there. So welcome to the Mediocre Content Podcast. I hope we've disappointed you thus far.
Welcome to being mediocre.
Yes.
It's nice to have you.
It is so groovy over here. Other than that, we'll see you next week for another awesome women's episode.
Yes, we shall. See you next week.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.